Give us a few more minutes and then we are on. Yep. Okay, let's begin. So, hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's session. Today's session, the topic being that feeling of not belonging. That feeling of not belonging. So, we are going to explore the many emotions that might be associated with that feeling of not belonging. And so let's just begin to explore what it feels, what it is all about when we think that we don't belong. Just a second, I think is there enough light? Can you guys see my video?
Yeah, Ma. Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. All right. All right. Wonderful. No, because over here there's some sunlight coming from somewhere, so I can't see what you can see. But let's try this a little bit lighter on my side. Okay, yes, I can see myself now. Okay, so wonderful. So just to begin with this idea of this feeling of not belonging. And each of us have been through this feeling of not belonging, this feeling when we feel this discomfort, slight discomfort, when we are in a group of people where we feel that we don't belong to that group of people. We are sitting over there, and yet, we are engaged with them, and yet this feeling that we don't belong. It could also happen on the other side, and I'm just kind of laying out the scenarios right now. It could also happen on the other side that you are in a place and other people, somebody else thinks that you don't belong. And so if you are that somebody else who thinks that the other person, why are they here? They don't even belong here. Why are they here? So then even exploring the energy perspective on that. And then lastly, we will also explore what does it mean to belong? What does it mean? What does it create in you? What will you feel like when you're totally, at that place of belonging, and all the energy perspectives about feeling that comfort and where is that coming from. So so to begin with, let's begin to explore that part of when you are the one, you are in a place. It could be a new job, it could be a new setting, it could be a new a new place, as in you've just, for example, you might just get married and then you come to your new home, and suddenly you get this feeling of not belonging. You could be in a new job and you've just left something and come to a new place, and then suddenly something happens and you get this feeling of not belonging, that you don't belong here. It could be nothing at all, nothing external has happened, and suddenly, just as you contemplate life in general, and many people come to me to say, oh, we just feel we don't belong here. We just feel we don't belong. What is it that belong? We don't belong to earth only. We feel that we belong someplace else. This is not the place for us. We don't belong. So, exploring what does it mean when you don't belong, that discomfort that you have, that feeling of being aloof, that feeling of being alone. That is why you feel you don't belong. Oh, these are not my kind of people. Whether it's the office or it's the new home setting or it's the earth setting, these are not my kind of people. I am not gelling with anyone. I am not feeling the togetherness with anyone. I am not feeling that feeling of joy when I have my interactions. All of these feelings that you're feeling alone and aloof and not belonging, the ones that you are feeling, the feelings point towards sadness, inherent sadness. So the frequency at play in this space would be that of sadness, that you are feeling so lost, you're feeling so alone. And the feeling that you have is the feeling underneath We can use all of these words. Oh, I feel so alone. I feel aloof. I feel I don't belong. But what is the frequency underneath? The frequency is just sadness. So to be able to look at sadness from this perspective now, that whenever, no matter what the outside tool is, it's a frequency that you have tuned into. And sadness, I've had this discussion once, even earlier. It was given to me in my guidance. We normally think that we are joy. We are joy. But actually, even underneath the layer of pure Ananda joy, there is a frequency of sadness associated with our very being itself. And where does that sadness come from? That sadness comes from the separation that we felt when we separated from the source. That little particle of ours that separated from the source, the first frequency that we actually experienced was sadness of this separation. So even as we feel the bliss is actually the non-emotion of being. The bliss doesn't mean that you're constantly at a high frequency of joy. The eternal bliss is the absence of any emotion, neither joy nor sad, just an even keel. That is what keeps us in the blissful state of observation. It keeps us in the blissful state of observation that, this is the Maya, this is happening. Okay, let's just simply move along. And we keep moving along with this zero thought, zero emotion space. That is the space of blankness, which we give many names to. Being aware, being enlightened, being blissful, all of them coming into the same bucket. But when we talk about frequencies, that inherent sadness that we experienced, we might be onto that layer as well, because we will keep feeling the sadness. It doesn't have to be that layer. But all this is to say that the sadness was one of the first frequencies that we experienced, even though the source, the knowing, has all the information. The knowing has all the information. Why am I even going to earth? I'm going to earth for the experiences of duality. And for duality, you have to separate. So for the separation, the first separation comes from the knowing itself. We separate from the knowing. We forget who we are. And that separation, that first separation from the knowing of who we are, and then now I'm just a tiny little speck. I'm a nobody in this world. I don't have anything. I need to become something. All of this is what we came to experience, our minuteness. That's what we came to experience on earth. But for this, we had to forget who we truly are. We had to create layers. Oh, yeah, I understand everything in the energy space, but I'm still not the source. Still only undergoing the separation from the source and feeling a little bit sad about it. Sadness is the frequency when you don't belong. That is the place where we are coming from. Apart from that, as I talked about all of these things, I'm not that. I have to be something. All of these other frequencies of, lack, I am not that. So the lack will also play out. So this is just, a bundle, the underlying being sadness, but then I am not enough. I have to do more. I have to be more. I have to prove myself. I have to value myself. I have to validate myself. I have to receive love. I have to give love. All of these come into play when we forget that we are love. We begin to play into lack, and lack is just a frequency, but we forget that it's just a frequency. We are a play of everything. We're a play of lack, especially in the frequencies of the mind. We are a play more of the mind frequencies. And so lack is more normal than abundance is. But to understand that we are a player of both, we are the holder of both. This is the choice that we have. This is what we begin to understand through awareness in awareness. So, belonging. Now to pretty much go to the, so I hope that, that kind of very small topic, but then we kind of keep looking for topics to talk about and to bring some more awareness of the same old. I've already spoken about this in some of my webinars about the separation and this, the anxiety of separation and sadness being one of the first few frequencies that we actually experienced as we took the particle form. Instead of the wave, instead of the source, instead of the whole thing, we took a tiny little part to experience all of this. When we are experiencing separation from someone, so there's a large group gathering, and suddenly you find that, why are these people here? They don't belong. They shouldn't be here. Why are they even here? What am I feeling when I feel that somebody doesn't belong? Somebody doesn't belong. I am experiencing judgment in that moment. And as we always know that judgment is truly always about our own self only. There is no one else that we judge. So, but in that moment when we are judging somebody else for not belonging, I'm judging that that person doesn't belong. I'm simply actually judging the parts of me that don't belong at another place at another time. You see, it's always only about us. In this place, when I'm judging somebody on the outside, the judgment is for the outside. But who is that person? That is the person that is not belonging. But who am I in many other instances? I am that person. And I judge myself for not belonging. I want to belong. I have this desire to belong to some place, something, someone. I want to belong. We come to that part later. But I want to belong. And so I try my very best to fit in. I do things that will hopefully make me fit in. And yet, I don't belong to some places. So when I'm sitting and judging on another event in another time, I'm judging somebody that, oh, why are they here? They don't belong to this. I am the more elite one. They are not so elite. I am the more, I don't know, so many ways we have to differentiate between ourselves in terms of caste and creed and social standing and everything. And we put ourselves in so many different buckets. So whatever be your bucket. But if you are saying, why is this person here? He doesn't belong to my religion. Why is he here? Why is that person here? He doesn't belong to my caste, doesn't belong to my class, doesn't belong to my social standing. Why is that person here? When we are judging from that space, we are simply judging. And we are judging ourselves for all the places that we didn't belong. So now, if you are on the other side, and if you are feeling, oh my God, I don't belong, there might also be shame. Shame included in your feelings that, oh my God, I'm piling on because I don't belong. I am piling on to this group, even though I don't belong. I am piling, and that will bring you, if you think that you are piling on in some place, then you are judging yourself for that piling on, and you will also feel a lot of shame in that place where you don't belong, right? So now moving to the third aspect of it, which is, why do we want to belong? Why would you want to belong at all? Why is there such a need for you to belong? And so just in the morning, I was having this beautiful discussion with someone who said, oh, I got a message. Mahinderji gave me this beautiful message that I'm going to have someone in my life, and then maybe I will get married. And then the message also said I will have 2 children. And I said, you might have someone in your life. That someone in your life might be a parrot. Mahinderji didn't say, well, Mahinderji's message is what she was quoting. And I said, Mahinderji didn't say it would be a person, it might be a parrot. So what would you do? No, it also talked about children. I said, yeah, look at me. I have thousands of children right now, and I haven't produced a single one. So where is this going? Where are you coming from? And she says, no, I have this huge longing for someone, that someone who would belong to me, I would belong to them. So we would get married, and then I would have an address. I would have an address. I would belong to them, and they would belong to me. And I said, wow, you are seeking this address through a paper called marriage? And it's not like she hasn't been married, but I was like, do you not know what you are going to receive when you come from this amazing place of lack? Because longing is simply about lack. The lack that you have, that, oh, I am not complete. I am not complete, and I need someone else to complete me. I am not enough. I am not enough. Obviously, that place, I am not enough, is simply the frequency of lack. So when you feel that you need someone and that person in the marriage is going to complete you, yeah, they will complete you. They will totally complete you in the hurt frequencies that you are. They will complete you in the judgments that you are towards yourself. They will complete you in everything. They will complete you in anger. And yes, they will also complete you in joy. They will complete you in everything that your energy holds. Nothing less, nothing more. You think that somebody outside is going to come and give you happiness. Well, if you are basing an expectation that that person needs to give me happiness, we're already on the wrong roller coaster, aren't we? And that's going to give us exactly the breaking of our expectations. And we all know when the expectations break, they come from attachments to outcomes. And here the outcome is happiness. The outcome is happiness. That other person will come, complete me, make me happy. So the outcome is happiness. When that happiness ka attachment is shown to you, it will create a lot of hurt in you. And so I wish to belong to someone because I'm not complete. And then she said a very beautiful thing. She says, in mythology, everywhere there is a couple. There's Ram and Sita. There is Radha and Krishna. And there is Shiva and Parvati. And all of these are couples when we talk about it. I said, wonderful. Have you taken a look at Ram and Sita's togetherness? For how many years were they together? And what all? They never spent a life together. Ram and Sita are two individuals who had to go separate ways so many different times. So their name is taken together, but they didn't spend everything to say that I am going to be only complete with you, Radha and Krishna. They didn't get married. They were, I believe Radha, that's the story goes, that Radha was much older, but the love was pure. Older, younger, whatever. But Radha and Krishna as a pair didn't lead a life together as a pair. Each of them are taken with, their names are taken with respect to love. But if you actually look at the same mythology, they didn't make it together. So for you to think that you are going to be Ram and Sita, please understand, you're going to be only Ram and Sita, which means you are going to spend a lot of time away from each other, discovering your own completeness. Discovering your own completeness. Each of these, when we talk about mythology is so beautifully all about the gods when they came to the human form. At least they had to go through all the emotions. When Shiva, there was a time when Parvati was finished off, and then he wept and he wept and he experienced all the sorrows. And then she came into his life again in another life, another form. So as we understand, mythology is still teaching us through the stories. But what do we pay attention to when we want to experience longing? When we wish to experience longing, we will think about all of these couples that are stories. When we understand the completeness, each of them we will be able to see as a complete individual, in a complete, God, if you might say, but in the human form, experiencing all the human experiences. And so when we look at somebody, two people together, completing each other, it is only the completion. Rather, it, it is only the reflection. It is not a completion. It is the reflection of your complete form. And this discussion we have had, and she said, and you and Sudhanshu. And I said, yeah, for the last 10 years, me and Sudhanshu, we meet. We meet once every month for 10 days. 20 days he's been spending separately, and I've been spending separately. And does that make me incomplete? No. As a matter of fact, I love the time that I spend with him. And I love the time that I spend with others. And I love the time that I spend with myself. I love the life as it is, in the flow, together, not together. We are doing the same thing. We are feeling complete in ourselves. Even when we are in the same house, it's not like we are with each other all the time. No, we actually only have about 2 to 3 hours of interaction in a day, and that's about it. And so when you talk about couples, each of us feel complete. And that is why, and that is the reason why there is joy, because there is no expectation that the other person needs to complete me, needs to be here for me, needs to be in attendance for my needs. No. When that expectation is there, when that expectation in my life, as I'm a moving life with moving experiences, but when that expectation was there in me, there was a lot of hurt. There was a lot of hurt. Why? Because expectations from attachments, not from love, but they are from attachments. And so when that expectation is broken, hurt will happen. But today, when I sit in a different place, when I understand myself as fully complete, and then everybody simply reflects that completion to me. Everybody brings me joy because I am joy. Everyone brings me masti because I am masti. So when I'm with my MPFY universe, which is ever expanding, ever expanding, as a matter of fact, now I come back to the question, this need to belong. The need to belong is simply a feeling of lack that you have. The emotion is of lack. Because when you are able to look at that need itself is coming from lack frequency. And when you go out of that need circuit, I need somebody, I need my children to make me feel like a mother. Roles, each of these are roles. The role of a spouse, the role of a child, the role of a parent, they will take you into circles and circles of every emotion that you hold. Not just one that, yeah, the spouse will only give me joy and the children will only give me something else. No, it doesn't work like that. Your mirrors. So where you sit in your energy field on a given day will be reflected back at you through these reflectors, these actors in your life. And so when you are looking for, oh, this one is not doing their role, what are you going to experience? Disappointment. So much disappointment, so much hurt from that expectation being broken. And so already to look at the need itself and to let go of the need from the place of understanding that you are already complete. You are part of the same source that each one of you already is. You already are. Without knowing, with knowing, but without the knowledge of it in this moment, but you are fully complete. Then where would you belong? Where would you belong then? Actually, then you would belong nowhere. You would belong nowhere. You would be a part of every activity. You would be a part of the masti that's happening outside. You would be a part of every, all the joyful celebrations that are happening in life itself. But where would you belong? You wouldn't need the belonging anywhere. You wouldn't belong to earth. You wouldn't belong to any place else. You wouldn't belong to a home. You wouldn't belong to people. And you would be fine with that non-belonging. You would be fine. It will not come to you as a longing to belong because you have released that longing. And that longing is simply lack. उसको देख जाओ और रिलीज कर दो. कितनी ही बार आएगा और जितनी बार आएगा उसको रिलीज कर दो. That's all that we do in the energy space, don't we? Whenever we are in the frequency of lack, today something will become the tool for me to experience that lack. On the days it is this feeling, oh, I am alone. You can either sit in that feeling, oh, I am alone, I have nobody to love because I don't have a husband or I don't have children. You can sit in that place and grow that space for yourself. You can grow that. And when you are done with the growing, when you are ready to come into the awareness of the self, then you can simply understand, ask yourself the question, what am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling lonely. Underneath the loneliness, what exists? When I feel lonely, what do I feel? I feel sad. I feel sad. And so letting go of that sadness, letting go of that frequency of loneliness, which is sadness, and then in that moment itself, you wouldn't feel the need to belong. And then anything and everything can give you joy without belonging. You can be in one place today and you can be in another place tomorrow. And if you are sitting in masti within, each of those places will be inconsequential. When I first experienced this, it was my Calcutta days when I went to Kolkata for understanding. This was 2017 when I was called over there, and Ramakrishna Paramhans had called me. And those were the days when I had tonsured my hair, and those were all guided steps. So I had taken off my hair, and I was told to travel to Kolkata with one small, tiny little suitcase with 3 sets of clothes. And then, not knowing, I was told, no, you're going for a long time. You're going for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, but you will only carry one small towel. This is the size of the towel. One small towel and 2 or 3 sets of clothing. And I was like, oh my God, but if I'm going for so long, well, I discovered that almost everything you can wash, with a soap bar and lay out to dry and iron the next day. And you actually only need 2 sets of clothes or 3 sets of clothes. And so that went on fine. But I was given in guidance, I was given a budget to eat my every meal. Every meal could only be 10 rupees and not more. Every meal could only be 10 rupees and not more. And here I was, I was roaming around there. In 10 rupees, yes, in Kolkata, you will get jhalmudi or something. You'll get some jhalmudi. And I was eating that, but the good ones will charge you 40, 50 bucks. So you have to go to the really bad ones where, you are risking that your stomach might go bad, something might happen to you, etc., etc. But to understand that that journey was entirely to bring me to surrender. And in surrender, there is complete fearlessness. And so I was experiencing that 100% fearlessness and breaking my programs of what is healthy, what is not healthy, eating by the roadside, eating on newspaper, buying a samosa, because 2 samosas for 10 bucks, wonderful. Then they'll be putting it on a newspaper and I'd be eating that. And I'd be sitting over there and I would be laughing. I would actually simply just laugh to myself because I was in such a hilarious state of bliss, but I couldn't understand whether I am this person, that one who's sitting on the footpath and eating 5 rupees ka samosa, or I'm that person who lives on Carter Road and lives in a house where the rental runs into 5 lakhs and 6 lakhs. Who am I? Am I this person or am I that person? And where do I belong? And in that moment, the answer was very clear. I neither belong here nor I belong there. I don't belong. I don't have the need to belong. I don't belong there. I don't belong here. And from that space of not belonging, guess what? I belong everywhere. I belong everywhere because everywhere I am comfortable. When I come from this place, having let go of my limited want of belonging to a certain place, then I'm at ease sitting on the road. I'm at ease, eating five-star food. I am at ease eating 5 rupees ka samosa because I do not belong. So when you let go of this limited understanding for yourself as to what will belonging do to me, what belonging will do to you, it will limit you. It will limit you to a certain setting. People will stay in a house, for years and years, not wanting to move. The house is falling apart. No, no, this is where I belong. I grew up here, or I got married here. I've been here for 30. This is where I belong. Can you see how much you've limited yourself? And then sometimes something will happen. You have to move away from there. If only you are willing to experience and explore, you will find, oh my God, we moved to a new place. This is so beautiful. This is so much more beautiful than where we were stuck for 20 years. But you come into that space only when you are ready to break some limits of yours. People will stay in marriages where they don't feel the belonging, but they have this need to belong to a name, to a last name, to be called a Mrs. So and so. And they wish to belong. And just for that, they will spend so much of their life in suffering, because this need to belong is the limitation that is keeping them there. And those frequencies of sadness and those, not that it is bringing you the belonging, it's not even bringing you, but you have the need to belong and you haven't looked at the need and you haven't released the need because you're unaware. So now that you're becoming aware, when this need to belong, this need to be complete through an external party, you don't belong here, you don't belong. If you are feeling you don't belong and the heart is heavy, if you're even feeling that, oh, I don't belong and the heart is heavy, it's still not from having witnessed that need. That need exists and you want to belong, but you're feeling that you don't belong, then it's that frequency of sadness at play. But if you can see that you don't belong and that not belonging to anything, any place, is keeping you light and limitless, you're not feeling the need, then you're in the aware space where you've discovered that you actually, truly don't have to belong. You don't have to belong anywhere. Life is wonderful because you belong to the source. You are the source. That is the space where you truly belong. So that was the Gyan space for today. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right, Ma, you're looking killing, Mardala. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I totally belong to that compliment. Anybody has any questions on this place, on the place of belonging, or on anything else? Please feel free to ask. We give a few minutes for anybody and everybody to ask a few things. Anybody has a question? Why did we come on this earth to experience this duality? Why not? Yeah, because that's how experiences are. Every experience is all about, the completeness of every kind of experience. And I talk about it many different times that this is how the frequencies in the universe grow. The frequencies are not static. We are here in our bodies as the experiencer. We need the bodies to experience. We need a form to experience, not just on this planet. In this planet, there is a separate purpose, which is to experience duality. But no matter where we exist, and because I classify this, because we exist right now in so many different places in the energy form, in so many different places. I don't prove it to you because this is simply information received. Yeah. There was this one time that many years ago, this is 2017 or 2018. There was this one time when I was sleeping, and in my sleep, I was shown motichur ke laddu. Motichur ke laddu, 4 large boxes, matlab 4 kilo motichur laddus in my dream. And then I was told, okay, these are all the planets that exist. So I woke up and I was with people who had, who had been on the reading knowledge path for a long time. Like, they knew everything there was to know about the spirituality and everything. And I had been told to not read anything. To not read anything. Tumhe jo chahiye hoga, that will be given to you as an answer. We will give you the answers. You don't need to read any books. So I was completely clueless as to what was happening. But I was shown these 4 boxes of laddus. And then I was told these are the planets that exist. And the dream went on. So when I got up in the morning, I was discussing this dream and I said, I don't know what this means. I was shown that all the planets that exist, and there was 4 kilos of laddus. That's so many. We only know of 8 or 9 planets. Now, what is this about? Like, this is like hundreds of planets. So what are they talking about? And she said, yeah. And that was my first understanding from an outside that, yeah, this is, we only know the physical planets as we see them, but there are so many energetic planets. So I said, yeah, this is what I was told in the dream. But I was also told, take a look at the motichur laddu. The motichur laddu is made of tiny, 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 tiny drops. Every tiny little golu makes the big golu. So I was actually told that one tiny thing on each of the planets is you. So that means you exist. And I also used to laugh because instead of big writings and everything, I was always told in very simple terms. I used to say, I'm only given answers in nursery terms because that's probably all that I can understand. Only in nursery terms. So show her the laddus, that's how she will understand the multiverses. So I was shown those laddus, but on each laddu, they said one of the dana of the laddu is you, but you exist in all of the laddus. You exist. One dana on each of those laddus is you. And so this concept of, multiverses is where life exists and you exist in so many different places. So as I began to understand that part a little bit more, we are on so many different planets for different kind of experiences, and we need to have a body form because by itself, the joy cannot be experienced. Joy is just a frequency. But to experience joy, you need to have a body. That body will eat a gulab jamun and experience the joy. By itself, a gulab jamun exists and the joy exists, but the experience doesn't exist. So we take so many different shapes. The energy takes so many different shapes for the experiences to grow. So the frequency of joy that I receive when I'm eating the gulab jamun, I am growing that joy, not just for myself, but for the frequency of joy itself in the universe. So each of us are in a purpose, but that purpose is not what we like to think of as purpose. Oh, my purpose is to help the poor. In that moment, I have forgotten that the poor is simply a body shape going through an experience, but that poor is also part of the source, is the source. Just as I am, just as they are. We belong to the same place. They have taken that body to experience those experiences that will come from that body form, that costume. So we come to so many different places In so many different places we exist so that we can receive experiences, and that purpose is fulfilled through us. What is the purpose? When I'm sitting in sadness, the sadness is growing through me. It is still, even when I'm unaware, I'm already forming, I'm already completing the purpose, because through me, when I experience sadness, I am growing the sadness for the universe as well. So each frequency in that way is expanding, growing more and more. And that's all there is to life. So from where we come, there is purpose to education, and there's purpose to all of this is happening to us from the place of separation. I need to validate myself, I need to prove myself. We have come to experience what lack looks like. And so lack on earth looks like this. And so we've come to experience it. And this exactly is the game of life. And when do you break through the game? When you can see yourself as energy. When you play the game in unawareness is when you're only the body and everything is happening to me. Okay, I prepared for this, but I didn't get through. So I took admission in that. So life is happening to me. But when you break through the game, that is when you're able to see that you're playing through your energies is what are playing through you. In that moment, then you can begin to choose your energies. And that's what you do. Now you become not just, the player of the game of life, you also become the umpire, you become the batsman, you become the bowler, you become the entire game itself. But that only happens when you are acting from awareness of the energy that you are. Your first response, because you're holding a body, so don't beat yourself that, oh my God, again I became unaware. Your first response is always going to be the first emotion that hits you. And most of the times it is going to be the raw emotion. So if somebody makes you angry, you will get angry. Don't beat yourself. Oh my God, how could I be angry? The run is not that you shouldn't be angry. The run is how quickly are you going to go back to becoming the empire of the game? From the player of the game to the empire of the game. How quickly will you cover that distance? So that then becomes a wonderful game to be in. A child play for about 5 minutes, then I'm going to go decide on the rules of the game. And the rules of the game are the universe is always playing in my favor. There goes. That's the only one rule that we play with. So I hope I answered that from all the fun answers that I had received a long time ago. In social situations, I've always felt like I'm a spectator on the outside, looking in, never a participant. I feel like I'm not able to truly connect to people or leave an impression when I talk to them. And I've definitely always felt like I have not belonged in any space I am in. I have memories of feeling this way even when I was 9 years old. Thank you for talking about this. Wonderful. Yeah. So please understand that because all of that was largely done with still the need to belong, the underlying frequency being sadness. Feeling alone, feeling aloof is the frequency of sadness. So now that you know, you will be able to experience it, recognize it, shed it, move over. And then you will come to this place of need to belong is not there only. Then you'll belong every place. You'll be joyful wherever you are. You will be yourself wherever you are, and you will have fun wherever you are. Can you talk about energy in terms of a piece of art in relation to its artist? Oh yeah, every art and every artist. It's so much fun when you're in the process of making something. Yeah. When the art is getting created, what is the energy that supposedly should be yours. You enjoy an art, you enjoy singing, and therefore you are singing and you sing. You sing for a group of 5, maybe you sing for a group of 10, maybe you sing for a group of 50. What is the energy in that moment that you are holding? That only you can tell, right? Because your singing is an outside expression, but who are you in the moment? I could be singing to a group of 5 people and singing really badly, but I might be feeling wonderful while singing so badly. Yeah. I might be feeling so happy that, array, I'm feeling so joyous. And so I'm singing. And we've all experienced that people who know how to sing or whatever, but doesn't mean that only they sing. Everybody, when you're on a picnic, when you're a happy mood, the entire bus is singing. And what mood is that? The art is singing. But what mood is that? That time, the mood is joy. Move over to something else. Now there's a professional singer. Now they are training and training to get themselves to a better place. Yeah. I need to be better and better and better at my singing. Guess what the underlying energy after some time becomes in this place? I am better. Oh my God, they did such a good job. Oh, I wish I could be like them. Now, the energy at play is of lack because now there is comparison. You got into singing in the first place because you enjoyed that. But very quickly, that energy has now shifted to a competitive sport. And in every competition where you are going to either feel jealous or not enough, the energy is of lack. So now you're singing, but not as good as them. Wonderful. You start to create energies of lack more and more. And what is bound to happen? Well, you're going to continue to find places where that lack is going to show up more and more. Maybe you will get to perform at a hall that has a capacity of 200. When you do that, when you get that news, you might be very joyful about oh my God, I'm going to sing for 200. And then suddenly you will hear that, oh, that contemporary artist of yours, that friend of yours, that singer, they are going to be singing to a audience of 1,000. Now what will happen? Again, you're going to be sitting not in so much joy, but now in so much of lack again. So to understand that as an artist, I had this friend who was a writer, and she wrote her first book. And it was a massive success, massive. And then she wrote her second book, and it got a little bit of lukewarm response. And then she wrote her third book, and she said it was her best piece of writing till date. Amongst the 2 books or whatever, this was her best piece of writing. And it got zero response from the audience. And she was so hurt and she was so disgusted and disappointed that she said, I'm not going to write again. I'm not going to write again. I'm done with this. When I met with her, she was going through a state of depression. So I simply just asked her, I said, when you are writing, when you're simply writing, she had this whole, she would go sit at a cafe and then spend 2 hours at cafe was her office, and she would spend 2 hours over there and have that, and she was all charged up and doing the creative space. And she said, oh my God, when I'm writing, I am in a zone. I love it. I love it so much, that whole high that I have when the book is being written and then when the book is being edited. I love it. And I said, please look at it as a transaction. You are creating that, and it has already given you the joy. The transaction is over. This transaction is over. Now, now you set up an expectation with it. I loved it so much. Now, outside people should love it as much as well. And with that expectation, Now you set out with the next set of transaction. So the transaction is now based not on joy. This time, this transaction is being based on expectations. So guess what? When you go out with expectations, there are two different kind of things that can happen. Either the book will be a success, and then your expectations will be met, and you will receive joy from the outside as well. You will grow some joy, but because the expectations are already coming from, an outside, the cycle doesn't stop here, because now you'll be writing your next book and creating a further set of expectations. Any time that the expectations break, you are going to complete that transaction with the heart frequency instead. You're going to complete the transaction with the heart frequency. I have an expectation that I should make so much money from this art of mine. When you go with that expectation, firstly, I should make so much money. Why? Because I don't have enough. If that is the place, then already the frequency is of lack. The frequency, no matter what is going into the art, the frequency is of lack. This art of mine should come out in such a way that it should create, this outcome, a name for myself, this money for myself. All of these wants and desires are already putting you in a place of lack. And so while you're creating is a brush stroke here and there. The energy belongs to you, and only you can tell what that energy is all about. There's not a general brush stroke that, all artists in all their creations are going to come from a place of joy. Not necessary at all. You might have a beautiful hand at painting, but your frequency is different. You might have a way with words, but your frequency might be different. You might have a way with any art for that matter, but your frequency, what frequency you are in, can only be answered with one question. As you begin to start with your stated art, what am I feeling? And from that space, you will know who you are as an artist on that day and what are you really creating in terms of frequencies. Art might be the best piece, but what frequency did you create it in is what you are creating your life. Your life is getting created, not from that art. Art is a body manifestation. It's the 1%, you are creative and you create something. But it doesn't mean that your energy is aligned to the beauty of the art. When I'm into awareness, I see this game of life as a spectator and work on myself by releasing low emotions. I don't understand the word low. I don't understand the word low, but you're using it, so you will have to explain it to me. After some time, actor changes, and again, I am back to same low emotions. Red. So low emotions, does low feel as good as high? Does low to you feel as good as high? Is what I'm asking him, Angi. So let me complete. No. Does red to you as a color feel to you as good as purple? Does red as a color feel to you as good as purple or blue or green or yellow? It doesn't feel the same to you? Red is not a good color? Red isn't a part of the rainbow, should be thrown out of there? Yeah. So red is a good color, and blue is a good color, and yellow is a good color. Then a low emotion is a good emotion, a high emotion is a good emotion. I am trying to understand why is this recurrence of low to high and high to low. Firstly, because you have judgment about the frequency itself. You are like, oh, Sony channel is a terrible channel. and news channel is the only good channel that I want to be in. So from that space of judgment, you will only create more judgments. And then when a low emotion, in your terms, a low emotion comes, you will be running away from it because it's a low emotion. I don't want to be in a low emotion. A low emotion is a bad emotion. I shouldn't be sitting in it. How many judgments? Have you not heard me say this one line? You must have heard it, right? How can you even ignore it? It's a one line that I say all the time. It's just a frequency. It is just, just a frequency. It is just a red color or a yellow color. So firstly, bring yourself out of this loop of low. I cannot sit in low emotions because these are bad emotions. It's just a frequency. You gather that? The word just, write the word just somewhere very large in front of your face, somewhere that you're constantly able to see it. So that whenever you go to a red emotion, a green emotion, a purple emotion, you can talk to yourself. It's just a frequency. It is just a frequency. And so from that space, you will stop judging your emotions. And then it is because the first step, and we've talked about it 1,000 times, the first step of releasing an emotion is acceptance of the emotion. Oh, I got a low emotion. Is that acceptance or is that rejection? Oh, I need to go back into a high emotion. I need to go that right now. I need to do that. I don't want this low emotion. I have only to be in high emotions. Is that acceptance? If you haven't accepted your frequency as just a frequency, as just a play, it's going to keep recurring because it has come to be accepted. You are missing out on the first step. You mentioned that it's more normal for us to spot, experience a frequency of lack. Could you recap that for us? Yeah, lack is the frequency of the mind, it's separation. So we feel lack all the time. I don't have enough. I am not enough. That is where we are, you know, right from the childhood, we are going to start experiencing lack. When you go to school, you're going to be judged on your performances. Oh, my performance is not as good enough as this one. And then my brother is good in this. I'm not as good as him. Or they can do this and I don't have that money to do that much. So all of this are experiences of lack. I don't have enough. I am not enough. I don't have enough time. I can't put in everything that I want to squeeze into my life, but I don't have enough time. I don't have love in my life. I don't have money in my life. I don't have health in my life. Don't have enough. We are experiencing that in so many different parts of our lives. And all of that where we feel not enough is the frequency of lack. Yeah, Sanjana? So you can probably take a look at whatever you're feeling, because when you come to the frequency of abundance, the line that goes on in the frequency of abundance is, I'm taken care of. When you are unaware, how many times do you actually feel in all aspects of your life, I'm taken care of? Yeah, maybe you have parents who are taking care of your, of your needs, of your whatever it is that you want to get, but then you'll find it somewhere else. He's not giving me enough love over there, then you feel I'm not taken care of. Or, again, as I said, lack of time, lack of something. And then you feel useless. And then that's lack of purpose. You're even feeling the lack of purpose. So you're feeling the lack over there also. Array, I'm feeling so useless. My life is of no good, something, something. That's why even this purposelessness also came to be discussed over here only. We are already in the purpose. As we are experiencing lack, we are already in the purpose because we are growing the lack frequencies for the universe. But Earth is a place where we came to experience through the body all of the frequencies of the mind. And the mind frequencies are all about separation. So if I'm able to be happy for that other person, saying, oh my God, wow, this is so beautiful, what they have done. what they are doing, they are just another part of me only that's doing that. Do we normally feel that? No. They have done, I also must do. Competition, jealousy, all of these are coming from the space of lack. You mentioned completeness. How challenging is it for a relationship to last when one person feels complete and the other seeks completeness? Is it better to enter a relationship only when both parties already feel alone? Oh, that's cute. So you're new here? Sanjana, can you speak to me?
Yes.
Are you new here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cute, because that's so cute. Because this one line that I speak in every webinar, I hadn't spoken today, so I'll bring you to it. That other line, I mean, I have these standard dialogues, and everybody just only wants to listen to them. The dialogue that's coming for you right now is, there is no other. Yeah. So when you're looking at somebody, to look at them as your reflection, then they are not another to complete you, they are another to reflect you. It's you and your mirror. Okay. This is how the energy works. It works on your vibration. So when, now to take your question, how challenging is it for a relationship to last? When you have looked into your energy and you have let go of the expectation for somebody else to complete you, now you are feeling complete in yourself and you are feeling joy from that completion. That joy is going to be reflected back at you from every outside mirror. So when you are feeling complete, the outside is going to feel extremely joyful, a relationship. Every relationship of yours is going to be joyful. And that was the whole place of talking about, Sudhanshu and I don't complete each other. We are already complete. And so we find joy with each other because we are already in joy. The joy is within, getting reflected from the outside party. When the other seeks completeness, so you are feeling complete, but the other is seeking completeness from you. When the other is seeking completeness, the question that you will still ask yourself, always, only one question. And that question is, when that is happening, what am I feeling? When that person feels that I'm not completing them and I'm not doing enough, and I'm just feeling happy about myself, when that person is feeling sad about this entire story, then what am I feeling? Then I'm feeling guilty. Then I am judging myself. And so what has come up to be released? What has come to be released is judgment for the self and guilt of the self. And it's your guilt that is coming to play. The emotion has changed. The emotion, when you've processed your own completion, now the outside party, if they are not showing you joy, if they're showing you this part, then you're sitting, oh, but I need to do something to complete them. You need to do something, but that something is not to complete them. You need to release your guilt. Because right now, what are they reflecting back at you? They are reflecting your guilt back at you. And when you are sitting in completion, you will feel complete. Everyone around you will also simply add to that joyfulness of your completion. Also, to understand that when we talk about you will feel complete, we only talk of moments. We talk moment of now. That's how life is. A moment of now, a moment of now, a moment of now. And each moment can you observe, and each moment can you see what frequency you are playing from. That is what is being taught as an aware life. Again, we are not running away from emotions, only being able to witness which emotions we are coming from. So, right now, you might be feeling complete and joyful. But then this new story happens, and now you're feeling the guilt. And then you release the guilt, and now again you're feeling joyful. And then third, something might happen, and now you're feeling incomplete. Now, some expectation might have come in, and that expectation you didn't see, and now you will suddenly be feeling hurt. Again, only question to ask, what am I feeling? 100 times in a day, because life moves not as a continuum, but life moves as every moment, every moment, every moment of now. And so, whatever the emotion is, you keep asking yourself, what am I feeling? You keep becoming aware. And that is why I keep reminding you, potty is every day. Just like how you do potty every day, you also look within and release this emotional potty of yours every day. And just because I call it potty, it's not something to be shunned. Oh my God, potty is amazing. It helps us feel clean, it helps us feel beautiful, and it's a very, very, very amazing part of the day. If you didn't do potty for 2 days, you would know how bad that feels. And so to understand that it is truly, when I say potty is every day, it is a beautiful cleansing process every day that we do. We do it for the body, and we also do it for the energy. Okay, people. Okay, now my throat wants to give up. All right. A 2-line meditation is all we will do. And only to sit in the energy of Meenal. I take energy from Meenal. I am Meenal. Feel the energy of Meenal. Allow it to come to you. I take energy from Meenal. I am Meenal. I hold all the knowings, all the answers of the universe. I hold all the answers, and I know all the answers. The answers are not needed by me, but when they come, I will know whatever is needed is here. Everything appears to me with ease and grace because I know that I am complete. I am complete. I am the source. I am full. I belong to the self. And the self is fully, fully complete and beautiful. Every part of it, every aspect of me, I accept. I am full. I am complete. I am whole. I am the Shiva and the Shakti. I am the Yin and the Yang. I am the Radha, the Krishna. I am complete. I am Meenal. I am Mani too. And I am my own self. And all parts of me are complete. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Okay, everyone. And lots and lots of love. to all of you. That was a
Thank
very
you, Ma.
short,
Thank you, Ma.
short, fun meditation. Enjoy, everybody. Lots and lots of love.
Love you,
Thank
Ma.
you.